Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Arthur and this is Micah. We are going to show you tonight how to do industries. We're going to take a look at the H Milling Group. This is going to be basically we're looking at the grain industry tonight. We'll do a series of these videos showing you each different industry that's been included in Farm Sim 22, but I'm sure you're kind of interested in what the next step is after you grow your crops. I did a nice tutorial if you want to check it out, talking about basic farming and using how to do a grain farm. And this is the next step. So once you're done making your grains, what can you do with them to make them worth more money? And we're going to do that tonight. Now, don't look at the money up in the upper right-hand corner. We'll pretend like that isn't there. XX. We just cheat that in here because this is a tutorial farm. And because of that, we give ourselves a lot of money. But we'll pretend like you've worked really hard, and now is the time for you to buy this facility. So let's take a look here. This is, once again, the grain mill. So first things first, we are going to purchase this mill. And I'm going to come over here, and we're going to go right over to the wrench. You click on it. You'll notice that the mill costs $96,000. That's actually not that bad. And it's going to make you a decent amount of money in the long run. So we now own this. And it tells us over to the right, we are missing materials to make wheat flour, barley flour, oat flour, and sorghum flour. You can choose to make all the materials or only some of them. You don't have to fill the production up. The one thing that I will say is that, and I got in here by clicking on the wrench, by the way. Let's do that again so you don't get lost. I came up here, I left-clicked on the wrench, and that brought us to this menu. You'll notice that these have red dots next to them. That means that the material's missing and that they are active productions. I would suggest that until you have things to put in here, you turn off the productions because they charge you. Now, I think, and we've done some testing, that as long as the product's not in there, you do not get charged that. But just in case, turn them off. Also, you don't want to have them on if you're just, let's say we're just doing wheat. And we're going to make wheat flour, then turn the other ones off and just turn wheat flour on. But it doesn't really make a difference. No matter what you do, it's going to take the same amount of time. So, for example, and let's look here. We're going to take a look here at the production chain menu up at the top here. We can make wheat flour that requires 150 sheaves of wheat or grains, and that makes 120 flour. Now you'll notice there's a little bit of a loss here, and that's part of the reason why sometimes you make less. You're losing about 30 grains to flour, but don't forget again, the flour is still worth lots more. Barley flour, same thing. That you get 150 barley, it makes 113. You can make oats. Oats does really well. Actually, if you're going to do this, this might be the best one because you actually get a boost here. You'll notice that you get 188 flour versus 150 oats. However, your fields produce less oats. So you want to keep that in the back of your mind because if I grow wheat, I might get twice as much wheat off a field as I do oats because oats are thin. They don't give you as many. So there's kind of a, once again, what does it all balance out to? And we'll do this. Actually, we'll do a trailer load of the same thing. We'll do each of these, a full trailer load, and see how much of each we get and how much value we get out of it. So here is our sorghum flour. Once again, you get 150 sorghum, 158 come out. So that's a good production there. You get a little bit bonus. And they're all 120 cycles a month. One of the downsides about the production chains, they take a long time to produce. So if you put in, let's say we fill this thing up, it's going to take probably almost 6 months for it to produce everything. Real quick things that you need to know. I just wanted to show you over here on this side of the building. We were standing over there up front. Over here on the right side of the building is where we find our, this is where your grains are going to go coming in. And then going back to the front of the building, the place where I have the Kubota parked, this is where the pallets come out. One mod that I would suggest for this kind of thing is an auto-loading trailer. Otherwise, you are going to have to hand load them with a forklift. So if you're not gonna do an auto loading trailer, that's a mod. Once again, it won't be in the game. I would definitely recommend the Manitou small forklift because that's a pretty easy thing to operate, and you can load trailers pretty quickly with it. So if you want to do the manual loading, then you're going to do it that way. But these flour packets come out on pallets, and there's a lot of them. So you're going to be doing a lot of loading. So just keep that in mind. All right, so for the first stage, once again, you're just going to need to harvest your crop off the field. And once again, I cover all this in the grain farming video. I also have a real quick tutorial out there about harvesters and different harvesting options. So I hope that helps you. But there's definitely some tutorials out there for you to take a look at. And we recommend you spend a couple minutes and go through some of those beginner tutorials if this is all new for you, because it will definitely help you out in the long run. It's a pretty complicated game, but it's not too difficult to get started. Some games are complicated and hard. This game is complicated, but yet still fun and easy. And you can see there at the top, we're filling up with oats. And we're going to put this into a trailer and then take it to our mill. All right, so here you can see Micah and I are getting the harvest. There's the oats. So if the boat that got named by the internet people was Bodie McBoatface, does that make your tractor Odie McOatface? The wheels. All right, folks, so we're going to get this done. We will see you up at the mill. Micah's going to drive the tractor up there, and I'm going to meet him. And we're going to put the oats, one of these trailers of oats, into the mill. The other one we're going to save, and we're going to sell everything all at once so you can see how much money we made on our oats versus our oat flour, and we're going to do the same for all 4 crops. All right, what we have here is what we call a grain train. It's made up of 4 different cars. First car is, we've got our, oats, and then wheat, and then barley, and then sorghum. I'm drowning in sorghum. They kind of look like berries, don't they? Interesting. Okay, and so we're going to go ahead and dump these in. Micah's got the tractor all set up. And we have 4 more trailers over here that they also have the same products in them. And these we're going to sell wherever we can get the best price when we go to sell the matching flour. So we're going to do a 1-to-1 comparison for each of these crops so you can see which ones are worth more, if there really is a difference in value. And is it worth doing? But that's what we're finding out today. I think it is, but there we go. Barley's going in. Show you have 18,499 liters of each in our building storage. It holds a lot more than that, but that's as much as we're putting in right now. And last but not least, the sorghum goes in. Don't look too close. Oh, look at the tires are raising up. That's pretty cool. That's the first time I've noticed that. The pressure's coming off because they're empty. And there goes Micah with our trailer train. Perfect. Let's go take a look at the production menu. So we're going to go ahead and start production on all this stuff. And so I'm going to go here and I'm going to say activate, 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 activate. And now we are producing all 4 types of flour. So now we just need to sit back and wait. It's probably going to take us a couple months. Oh, that's a different. Don't ignore those messages. You can see here the active production is running. We've got 6 liters of flour already. 7 liters. It takes a little while. So we're going to go ahead and run a couple months ahead and see where we are, and we should be ready to go ahead and load these up and sell them and see what they go for. So in the meantime, Micah's making the other train up. Pretty cool stuff. All right, we'll be back. So we have a bit of a problem. It does not actually branch these out into separate categories. So we don't have, for example, wheat flour, or it's just flour. It's all considered just flour. Oat flour, that kind of stuff. This is just generic flour. That's going to make it a little bit more difficult. So what we're going to do instead, I wanted to sell each one trailer and match it to the type of flour, but because it's all one big generic mass, what we're going to do is the same thing. We're going to sell all of these, get the final price of what we made with the grains in total, And then we're going to sell all of these and get what we made with the flour in total. It's not going to be separated into categories. So just know that. That's one thing that we learned tonight. I've done the mill before, but I've always just done wheat or oats. But now that we know, that we're doing multiple things at a time, I'm seeing that, okay, there is not separate flour. It's all just flour. So there you go. So the other thing, too, you got to notice here now, we still have about half of our, a little bit less than half of our products in the building. We have 7,600 of each product. And yet we can't produce anymore because the flour, there's 30,000 flour sitting out here. So let's see, each one of these is 1,000. So there's 30 pallets coming out right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 12 out here, and I guess that means there's 18 more inside the building. So we need to load these onto a trailer to make room for it to make the next group. So you got to make sure you check each morning and see if you're going to be out of space, or each month. We fast forwarded from August to September. It took a month to make 30,000 of these. I think it's like if you go by days, like if you have like 3-day months, it'll be done in a month. Since we're going month by month by month, it takes a month to produce this much. So there you go. And Micah's arrived and brought us a little present. Nothing like the present. And just park right there, Micah. That's good. And we'll load it up from there. And I need to take these off. Yep. And we'll hop on the forklift. Arthur's Forklift of Destiny. And from here, we're going to go into spatial mode. You get to see me load this real quick. All right, folks, so what you're seeing here is our factory productivity. We have 2 truckloads full, approximately exactly 72,000 liters of product that has been milled. Now, keep in mind, we put 74,000 liters in. So there definitely is, you get a little bit less out for what you put in when you put in all equal numbers. We put in the same amount of everything, and that's what we got. So if you do all oats, then you're going to get more than you put in. If you do all wheat, you're going to get less. In general, overall, if you do all the crops across the board, you will get about, it's less than 1%, maybe about 1% less. So not great, but this, once again, we'll see in price-wise then once we go to sell these. But we do need to fast-forward time until December or January, because that's when these are worth the most. So Micah's bringing the train with the grain up, and we will get the numbers once we're done here. So are you ready for the big moment? Here we go. We have reached January. We're going to sell each of these trailer loads. First, we're going to start with the grains and see how much we make in total. Then we're going to start with the trailers of flour and see how much we made. Sorry, my brain. Bzz. All right, so go ahead, Micah, drive her on up and start selling. And I've got the calculator ready. The tracker. So here we go, folks. The exciting part of the evening, the part that you've been waiting for. How much money did we actually make from this simple production chain? Now, one of the reasons why we started with grain is because it's a simple production chain. We don't have to take these to another place and sell them there and then sell this and then make another production. However, you can take flour to a bread mill and make bread. So this is part 1 in a 2-part chain. I think it requires some other things too, the bread does, but you can take some of these products over to like the wheat and the barley to the bread mill and the flour, and it will make bread, but we'll look into that. So 2580 20580 plus.
That was barley.
That doesn't matter. I'm not worried about what's what.
Okay.
Just dump them.
This is oats.
Just do it. Okay, plus 35, 35302 plus. We got sorghum going down. All right, 29,000, so 29974 plus. All right, go ahead.
The wheat.
Little grains of Wheaties. Okay, last number 22,700. 22700. We're gonna round this off. It's 108,556. We're just gonna call it 1085. Just for actually 1086. If we're gonna 108. Let's just call it 1085. So $108,005. Now let's go ahead and see what we get with the trucks. So Micah, you can pull the first one up onto it and see if it starts selling. And I'm going to try to squeeze in with you. And I'd like to try to get these all at once, but we may not get we may have to look and see. Hopefully it breaks it up in our Before you start, give me 1 second. Hang on. We're going to pause for a second, folks. Hang on. Okay. The situation is under control.
I think it's over here, right? Yeah, this is it right here, next to me.
Okay, I'm going to pull up next to you. Make sure you like L to turn your... Oh, it's only grabbing half of mine. Oh, Lordy.
Let me get out of the way.
You're fine. Oh, I'm stuck. No, don't tell us. Oh, crap. 75. Okay. All right.
It didn't take the last one of mine.
And we might have sold out. That might be all it'll take. It's not taking any more. We filled them up. Oh, no, they're taking more of mine. Okay, go around again, Micah.
Yep. All right, I'll go around.
That's weird that it did that. So 67.8. So 68. All right, so give me 1 second to do the calculation, folks, once Micah has his sold. Is it not coming off, or are they coming off?
It's going.
It's because it fell over. Are you kidding? Like, ram it off the back to see if you can shove it off. Nope. Oh, that little basket of love. We're going to have to get a freaking forklift and bring it over here to do it. Farm sim. All right, we'll be back, folks. Micah's the whiz. He got it to bounce. It bounced up. So just know that you can't sell them if they're on their side. That's so weird. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take... So we had 108.5 on the last one. And so this was... Let's see. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to call it a dud, man. We made 145,000 on the milled flour. So now that said, okay, so we had 4 tippers full. And so I was wrong. I thought it would make, my guess was that it would make 2.5 times the amount. What actually happened is we made half again or less. Because we made 108 just with the crop sales. We made 145 with the processing, which costs money. So really, probably about a $40,000 profit over the top of what we would have done if we would have just sold the crops the way that they are. But let's say we do the math. Okay, we only filled it up a quarter of the way or less. Like, what do you say, Mike? About maybe even a tenth of the way full? Or was it closer to a quarter?
I don't know.
I think each one was like maybe 20% full. It was not, they weren't full all the way. So we could have fit 5 times more in the factory is what I'm saying. So even though you're just making a quarter more, if you had a big harvest, because we only put 1 tipper of each thing in there. If we put 5 tippers of each thing in there, the profit over the top of what the crops would have earned you would have been about $250,000. So you have to think big. In the big picture, if I would have sold that much grain, like let's say 5 tippers full of each of those, I would have made $1 million, let's just say. Now I'm making 1.25 million because I took it to the granary. So it made an additional 250,000 over the top. Is that worth it? Yeah, so Mike and I were talking about this. So what I'm trying to point out is if you put a decent sized harvest, like if we put double what we put in there today, we would have come close to the building paying for itself. It was $100,000 to buy it, $95,000 to buy it. If we would have put 2 tippers of each thing in, then we would have made close to $90,000 extra profit. The building would have paid for itself. So is it worth it? I mean, I would say probably. It does take longer though. We had to wait, and you have the added labor of having to move all that product. Now, we used, because we're millionaires, we used a pair of semi trucks and did it very quickly. You may have to move it on like little flatbed trailers, and it could take you all day or all month or 2 months or whatever to get it moved. So there is also that to consider, that you have to move all this stuff. But you're already moving grain. The difference is you have tippers. So there's some things to think about as far as like, is it worth it? You're going to have to buy a trailer. That's $40,000. You're going to have to buy a truck. That's $100,000. So really, if you're doing big grain crop production, it's going to be worth it. But if you're not, if you're doing just small fields and stuff like that, it's probably not worth doing unless you have other things in mind, like cake. So if you want to make cakes, and cakes are worth a lot of money, flour is part of that production chain. So you're going to have the flour factory to make flour to make cakes. So there's that. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we sure hope you liked this video. And we had fun making it. Did you have fun, Micah?
Absolutely.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Have a great night. Be sure to subscribe. Thumbs up always help. Don't forget to check out our series. We're finishing up Spruce Mountain. There's still a couple episodes left of that where we're trying to make $1 million on a farm. It'll be the first farm that I'm actually profitable on, by the way, over all these years. And then we're also doing Zoop Zoop Zoop, which is our soup factory, and that's a good fun series. So be sure to check those out, and we'll see you guys next time. Bye. Say bye, Micah.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.